So how do you create a brand that truly represents who you are and the products you sell, as well as building a business that you can scale online? That is what this podcast will help you do. My name is Henry Kaminski Jr., and welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast.
Let me just make this statement loud and clear. Jersey's here, Jersey's here.
What's shaking, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor Podcast. Like usual, we are live streaming once again with my man, Owais Qureshi. What's going on, Owais?
What's up, Henry? How are you, man? How was your weekend?
Awesome, man. We're coming off an exciting weekend. Got my phone blowing up over here. I got to turn off. Man, rookie mistakes. Oh, man. So I see you got your new office. That's pretty amazing. Look at that backdrop of Houston, Texas. That's pretty sick.
The new headquarters, man. The new headquarters. Yeah. We finally moved.
Looks awesome, dude. Looks awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So
how was your weekend?
It was good, man. It was entertaining, to say the least. Friday was not such a good night.
Oh, man.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't get much sleep Thursday, and Friday I was a little grumpy and I was a little pissy, and my wife wanted to go to the city and I wasn't really interested, so I bailed at the last minute, and then I was like, you know what, I'll come, and then I wound up not going, and it was oh god, I just couldn't get my shit together Friday night, but it was good to see some relatives that we haven't seen over the weekend that are living in Florida now. So that's always fun to see them and just chill. But we've been getting some serious rain, bro. Like we're constantly getting rain. Like,
wow.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, it's been the same thing over here, man. Just back and forth. 2 days rain and then all of a sudden, back to sunny. So.
It's so annoying. So a couple things I wanted to chat about, which is kind of worth bringing up.
Yeah.
Did I lose you? We gotta zoom in on Oasis' palm right now. Oh, there he is. So a couple things that I heard over the weekend that's been pretty interesting about Pinterest. Have you heard about this yet?
Something about a scrolling thing.
Yeah.
So, or functionality.
Yeah. So Pinterest is in the process of restructuring their functionality to compete with the other platforms, because we all know how the scrolling mentality and the scrolling feature, perfect way to explain this is how YouTube has now become this scrollable platform versus you have to going in and actually typing, right? So on Pinterest now you're going to be able to follow people and create this scroll experience or participate in this scroll experience. My guess is that they're doing this because they want to sell ads at scale, and they're going to start training their users to scroll. And then in that scroll, you're going to start to see ads. That's my guess.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And this is just user behavior. They're responding to a significant amount of data around what the average user behavior is, right? So, and I think that ties into the topic today as well, is like, are you responding to what your specific target audience and your specific target client is doing, and and more importantly, are you responding to the preferences that your particular client has?
Exactly. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about 5 digital marketing strategies to dominate. And I might have put 10 in here. I got like I always tell you guys, I have a little outline that keeps me on rails here, but I jam-packed this episode with a ton of information for you guys, and you guys might have to go back and watch this again or listen to it again. But for all the live listeners and viewers, if you want to chime in the conversation, please drop some comments. We encourage it. We'll shout you out. We'll answer those questions. And for those folks that are listening in and want to participate in the future, every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we stream these live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. So please feel free to participate and come join us live. So couple of big issues I'm seeing here when it comes to digital marketing, especially nowadays, where things that were working a year or two ago, maybe even 6 months ago, are like obsolete because of how quickly the markets are changing and evolving from a digital standpoint, right? Like we just talked about Pinterest and YouTube, making this big push for shorts, and Instagram making this big push for reels. So I want to talk about digital psychology here for a second. I think it's very, very important for you guys to understand like how people consume, specifically your customers. How are they consuming their information, and why do people consume the information that they do? So let me back up a step here. When it comes to how people are consuming, the shorter, the more concise, the more straight to the point you can get, the better. The other thing that I want to pay attention to here is, and you're going to laugh because I don't think you saw my latest Instagram reel yet that I posted today. You're going to laugh. But the entertainment factor couldn't be more important nowadays than ever, because that's the differentiating factor. That's when you start to get good at digital marketing, is when you can actually entertain and educate to qualify those leads, right? Yeah. And then to your point, I saw that you put here, where they're hanging out on social media, i.e. your clients, your potential clients. So are they on Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on YouTube? Chances are they're on all of those platforms, but which ones are going to return the best investment per your time, right? And that's what I want to help you guys with today, right? When it comes to why people consume, my question for you guys is this: premium versus premium. What does that mean? There's reasons why people do what they do, right? So there's two types of premium. There's the premium, like the quality of what it is that you deliver. And there's the other definition of premium, which you probably understand better if I reference more of an insurance company, or your right. Your premium is that monthly nut you pay for every month for that assurance that you're going to be okay in case of an accident. Yeah. Right. So important here, very, very important here to understand. But peace of mind. Let's go back to that entertaining factor for a second. Over the weekend, I may or may not have been a little hungover from Friday night's shindig with my buddies, because I did wind up going out with two of my good friends. And I'm sitting on my couch going, me and my cousin Dion, we kid each other all the time, going back and forth on text message with like silly like filters from Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, right? And we make each other crack up like all the time, right? So I have this character who I it's like a fat face filter, and it looks like this like giant Italian guy from like the mob, right? And I always use like a thick, heavy Jersey accent with this particular character, right? And I always get my cousin going with this guy, right? So I go, what if I put a name to this guy? What if I actually built out a character with this guy, with this filter, and started to bring him into my marketing? So I gave it a shot on Saturday. I was like, you know what? Let's call this guy Joey Stroomz. And if you don't know what Stroomz is in Italian, it's shit. It's poop, right? So the reason why I named him this is because this character is a shit talker to me. So he's calling me out. He's making fun of me. He's throwing objections out there that typically I get. But instead of me just coming out here boring, talking about objections and things like that, I created this character to sort of humiliate me. So I created a troll. So the guy's name's Joey Stroomz. And I created my first reel with this guy. And basically he's asking me a question and I'm answering the question in the reel, right? And you'll go check it out on my Instagram. You're going to see a lot more of Joey as I get better at doing this. You're going to see
should be fun,
how I leverage him. Yeah. And so I was talking to one of my social media coaches over the weekend, and I said, check out what I got going on here. And he said, dude, I love characters, and this could be a really fun thing for you that could really catch some speed. So what I mean by entertaining, you really have to start to figure out, like, how entertaining am I? And if not, like, who can I bring in to start to create this? Yeah. Because nothing is worse than boring content that's snoozeville, right? So much more on Joey Stroomz as my wife is probably cringing when she sees these things. And you know what? I was like, you know what? I don't care, because she's not my client, one. And two, if you're not out there trying different things on video and on social media, chances are you're not gonna break through. You're not going to evolve. So very, very important stuff there. So
take a look at the insurance companies that advertise, right? And some of the ones that are extremely entertaining. What is the Liberty Mutual one?
The Limu to Emu or something?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That one. And then the guy from Allstate, where he's just constantly getting hurt, or like he's coming up with like a Band-Aid or a stitch on top of his forehead. I think that's the one that to me is the one that's most memorable, because it reminds us, A, it's entertaining, but B, it's like it also reminds us that calamity can come at any given time. So I think they're driving both of those points home. Yes. And making their message as memorable as possible.
Exactly. So what we're going to do real quick little break, quick little message from your sponsor, and we will get back into the digital marketing strategies that you should be mastering to dominate on social. Right after this. If you're a business owner who feels your branding isn't truly representing the value that you deliver, check out this free video training that will help you level up your brand's messaging and online presence so that you can start attracting higher quality clients. Visit www.uniquedesignz with a Z at the end, not an S, .net/level up my branding. All right. So strategy number one, right? Video marketing. How important is it to leverage video? Now, I am no statistician by any means, but I constantly get these emails and I see online the percentages of conversion and how higher conversion is when marketers leverage video. So I'm talking YouTube ads, I'm talking IG reels, I'm talking live streams like this, I'm talking anything video related. How you're leveraging video is so important. Yeah. We talk about touch points, right? I think we're up to like 14 to 21 digital touch points before somebody actually makes a move towards your brand. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's just talking to you, right? Before even actually deciding to buy. This is just during the consideration phase. They're still stalking you.
That's a good way to put it, right? They're still creeping on you.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just background followers is all they are until you have an actual conversation with them.
Yeah.
And to your point, I mean, yes, video marketing and just leveraging video is probably one of the highest level of engagements right now.
Yeah. And the consistency of it.
Yeah,
There's a
the
reason
consistency
why.
is definitely, yeah.
Yeah. The reason why we show up every Monday, every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, like clockwork, is important because we're building that relationship with you guys every single week. There's a reason why a podcast of mine gets published every single week. We had it up to the point where we were publishing 3 podcasts a week, which I thought was a little overkill. So I backed it down a little bit. I don't want to be force feeding content, but I want to get my touch points out there as quickly as possible. And that's why it's so important. But I don't want to overstate my welcome either, right? Because then you start to become a commodity. So
that's right.
It's always good to like pepper it in versus dump it out, right?
Maintain a little bit of scarcity. That creates a higher demand for the product, right? Just basic
Exactly. A healthy dose of scarcity is always going to do you well. So when it comes to video marketing, though, it could be quickly overwhelming to you if you don't have any sort of structure behind it, right? And so some of the things that I've worked out over the years of being so much on video is creating your content pillars, right? And so you could use 4 pillars. That's a real healthy number. And I'll give you a quick example. Like my pillars of content, they revolve around 4 things. There's personal development, coaching, right? There's systems and processes, because I know this is what my clients struggle with, right? There's funnels, right? And then there's personal branding, right? And so those are my 4 pillars that I'm creating content under every single week, right? If I'm not teaching you something, if I'm not educating you or entertaining you around those 3 topics, then my content is irrelevant for my ideal client. So my question for everybody is, what are your 4 pillars of content? And if you're struggling with trying to figure that out, that tells me you don't know your audience. And when you don't know your audience, that equals wasted time, wasted money, wasted energy. And I don't know about you, but we were talking about being 40 this year, and I don't know, since I hit 40, my life is like sped up by like 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It feels like.
Yeah.
So, I don't have that time to waste anymore. So I'm going to get much more strategic, much more intentional, which we'll talk about.
Create efficiencies.
Exactly. Which leads to the next topic, customer experience. How important is freaking customer experience?
Those are the ones that are going to buy, right?
If
You got to be able to,
like, I don't want to sound like I'm talking from an ivory tower here, and it took me a long time to figure this stuff out, guys. It's not something that just came very easily to me, but customer experience is huge. So how can I create an online experience for my ideal customer, for my client, that's going to help them navigate my website, navigate the instructions that I want them to take in order for them to get the help that they need? Right? I have some tools here that I highly recommend. Typeform is a phenomenal survey builder, right? There's Survey Monkey, there's 1,000 of them, right? But Typeform I love because there's some really cool logic that you can integrate. There's a really cool design. So I have to have everything looking really good. And Typeform allows me to do that. So Typeform is a great way to get customer feedback and for you to get the insights you need to market yourself better.
Yeah.
Right. So Typeform's great. Project management platforms like Basecamp and Monday and Trello and those types of platforms are going to keep your systems on track. It's going to allow you to track the success of your clients better, You know, I can't remember how I freaking made it 5 years in business without having a standard operating procedure or a platform that helped me manage my projects.
You know, and think about what it does to the overall trust of a potential client if you're able to showcase that, look, we have this back end system that really helps us streamline the process of the entire project. Why? To make sure that, you know, again, to ensure a project success
Mm-hmm.
and to reduce risks. That's how I position it. I mean, at the end of
Great
the
point.
day, when we didn't have this and we were trying to manage all this through our inboxes 8
Mm-hmm.
years ago, oh my man, it was catastrophic.
Yeah. Your
And those
inbox.
clients did not return.
Yeah. Your inbox should not be your job orders.
No,
It shouldn't
not
be
at all.
it shouldn't be your project management platform. Wow, that's amazing. And for years it was for me until I finally was like, no, this isn't working. Everything is crumbling around me. I need to figure this out quickly. Before we continue, we got Michelle in the house. She says, hey, Henry, life starts at the age of 40. In fact, I've pushed 40 all the way to 64. I love it. I love it.
That's inspirational.
It is. The other tool here I have for customer experience is Calendly. It's Calendly is such a simple tool. Like and it allows you to book appointments. Like, it's so important to leverage Calendly. And now they've upgraded Calendly to levels where now you can accept payment, and it integrates and embeds so nicely into landing pages and things like that. Like, don't sleep on Calendly. Like, you could run a business off of Calendly, right? I mean, you could literally, you don't even have to have a freaking website anymore. You can create revenue from a Calendly link. So there's no excuses. Guys, right? That you don't have the tools to make money online.
So notice the pattern in all of the ones that you've listed out here.
Mm-hmm.
They are all, in one way or the other, each of these platforms are individually reducing the friction for your customers to be able to come in and hire you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the overarching theme here, or that concept that Henry's talking about here on the customer experience side, is reduce that friction and make it as seamless as possible. Make that experience as seamless as possible for them, from the moment that they're considering you to the moment that they buy to the moment that you fulfill.
That's the key. Always being 3-4 steps ahead of them.
Yeah.
But on top of that, letting them understand what's about to happen next. Like, your clients, they do not want surprises, especially if you sell a premium product or service. I do not want to be surprised that you're not showing up today because, I don't know, maybe you got a more expensive gig, or you forgot because it's not on your calendar properly. Think about that. I don't have tolerance for that, especially if I'm paying 10, 15, 20 grand for a service, right? Like, I don't want that. I don't think I ever canceled a brand accelerator workshop call unless, like, I had no power because, like, the power went out or something like that. Like, even if I had, like, conflicting things on my schedule, because it just so happened or something, I don't think I ever canceled a workshop because it was on the calendar. It was scheduled. It was promised. And so I must deliver. Yeah. So, you know, but Typeform and Basecamp and Calendly, and Michelle says she's used the free version of Trello. Yeah, Trello's a great resource. I use Trello for another service provider that helps me out with a couple of things. They use Trello, so I'm a little comfortable with using it. I don't use it inside of my business, but I know how to use it. But yeah, it's a real smooth process once you get the hang of it. But having these resources are so huge. They're going to help you leverage time, leverage people, and leverage tech to create that user experience for your client, your customer experience that is going to be memorable. All right.
I want to add one more to the list if we have time.
Please.
So, and you've seen this, Henry, MindMeister to me has been heaven sent. That's how I run my workshops. And this really helps us organize, and it's even helped me organize, like inside of my business, and just my processes. And then of course, just the overall attributes of a brand, who they're serving and how they're uniquely positioned in the marketplace. I mean, this really helps us visually map out exactly how the brand is structured, or a specific process is structured. So to me, that one, I tell everyone is like, hey, look, if you're ever looking to organize every single one of your processes, whatever it is, get it on paper. This is probably one of the best tools out there.
Huge. When I hired my social media coach last week, he put me on to Notion, Notion, right? And when he laid out the cliff notes of the session, holy crap. Like awesome. Michelle wants you to restate the software again.
MindMeister.
Yeah.
MindMeister.
Yeah. So, okay. So the types of content, and this is super important when it comes to digital marketing strategy. Like if you don't have the different types of content peppered in to your strategy, it'll be very one-dimensional. You will become very one-dimensional online. And that's not going to cut it these days, guys. You have to be well-rounded from a personal standpoint, from a professional standpoint, from a creative standpoint, right? So I'm going to give you 5 buckets of content that you need to start layering into your strategy. Number 1, personal content. Now you don't have to, I don't need to know your life story in 3 minutes. Well, maybe I do, right? But getting personal with your audience is the best way to create that relationship. Okay. Visibility content. What do you mean, Henry? Visibility content. What if I just post? Isn't that visibility? No. I'll give you an example. One of my visibility posts are Instagram Reels because they get the most reach. Okay. And they help me grow my account. YouTube Shorts. We're using YouTube Shorts to extend our visibility. Since doing YouTube Shorts consistently for the past 3 weeks, we've grown like 500 subs. Crazy. So that's what I mean by a visibility piece of content. Got to get it out there. What types of content on the platforms are being favored right now, and how are you using them? Shorts, Reels as examples, right? Engagement posts. Engagement posts are huge. The ones that work really well for me are the Twitter images so the Twitter posts on Instagram. So I tweet something out, I screenshot it, and then I upload it into Instagram, but it's typically a question. That creates tons of engagement, tons of comments, tons of questions, and they perform extremely well. Then we have posts that are strictly focused on converting a sale. These are typically carousels. You could do carousels on LinkedIn. You could do carousels on Instagram. And it's delivering that value. And then at the end of that carousel, it's, hey, go buy this. or I sell the click. Go to the link in my bio and go grab the masterclass. Go book an assessment with me, right? But that's sales content. And then there's leads content, right? I'm doing something right now in my stories on Instagram that's working really, really well. So I use the Motivation app. There's an app called Motivation, and it's so cool. I pay like $4 a month for it. I would never think I would pay $4 for an app like this, but it's so worth it. And the Motivation app is basically, there's tons of categories in it, and there's quotes that are based on the category. So what I do in my Instagram stories is I take these quotes and I upload like 2 or 3 of them at a time. And then I add like some sort of filter, whether it be a poll or something that is used in the Instagram story where I'm going to create some sort of engagement, right? And I'm going to do 3 or 4 of these at a time. And then I'm going to have a huge call to action at like my 6th story is going to be, hey, go check out this masterclass. So I'm leveraging the Motivation app to kind of wind up my audience's interest and get them going, yeah. Okay, I'm going to go do this because I connect with this guy. So that's huge. That is huge. So yeah, and that is a phenomenal way to generate leads using Instagram stories, right? And what helps them relate, helps you connect with them. And like I said, when you insert that poll feature, like, do you agree with this? Yes or no? Yeah. You're getting that.
Seeing a lot of that in your content.
Yeah, and it's cranking the reach up. And I'm getting more people involved. And that's the big play nowadays, guys, is that engagement play and the entertainment factor, like I mentioned before. So you're gonna see Joey Stroomz in my story, and you're gonna laugh, or you're gonna be like, this is completely ridiculous. It doesn't matter, but I'm gonna get some sort of emotion out of you, because you can't not laugh at this guy, right? Especially when he's calling me out on funny things, So that's that. Now, content strategies, and this is where we'll start to wrap up. We got about 10 minutes, and then we'll wrap this up. So, content strategies. This is where I'm going to get a little granular here. Okay. So, when you're creating titles for your YouTube videos or titles for your Instagram videos, right? They should be 5 to 7 words at max. Max. And they should never be literal. Like, for example, I got slapped last week because I put my title was, "What is your funnel strategy?" That's a little too literal, right? So instead, I should have put, "How are you generating leads with your personal brand?" Or that was probably let me give you one. That was a shitty example. I'm sorry. Okay. What's your funnel strategy? That's bad. Instead, what about generate leads without learning complex coding? Right? See how it's not so literal? And what if you don't know what a funnel is? Right? Yeah. So that's that high level content, that top of the funnel content that you want to make sure that is like piquing interest, kind of hooking them in. But if you get too specific, you might lose. You might lose. So I'm going to try it, see how it goes. So 5 to 7 words max on your titles. There's another cool formula that I learned, and it was the ROT formula. So result, objection, time. Right? So I'll give you an example. $1 million funnel result without complex codes, objection, in 30 days time. Right? That's the ROT formula. Pretty sweet. Then there's the from, to, with formula. So from 0 to 1 million with simple branding. Very, very simple formula. All right. What about the
attention?
The you-centric the you-centric plus question is another great formula. So is your pretty website bringing in cash? Great formula. All right. Yeah. So these are the hooks. This is what's driving interest. This is what's creating and piquing interest.
Yeah.
That's how you get them in. Now you have two here. I'm going to give my voice a break a little bit. But you have two content strategies here that are really, really good.
Yeah. And you know, this connects to what you talked about in the previous section, was about engagement. And really the main thing here is that create a dialogue between you and your target audience and your target client, which you've been doing through all your posts and through a lot of your reels and stories, right? So one is what I call challenge driven. Figure out exactly what the common or shared challenges are of your ideal clients and speak to that. You know, create a title around that, create a conversation around that, or even a question around that. And then the other one is outcome driven. The outcome driven, same thing. Figure out exactly what it is that they desire to achieve and speak to that. Ask questions around that. You know, what is it? What's at stake for your clients? That's typically something that I ask. Is like, what is at stake for you if you make the right decision or if you make the wrong decision in going with a particular vendor?
And again, you can't ask yourself enough who your ideal client is.
Yeah.
You know?
Always comes back to that.
Always comes back to that. Yeah. And you can fill out the forms and you could fill out the downloads that people are giving away for free out there. It's only going to help you so much. Yeah. You know, when I'm sitting with somebody and they ask me that question and they're mind mapping with me, that is so much more effective for me personally than for me to try to do that exercise by myself.
That's a lot of guessing games involved.
Exactly. And just getting that outside perspective is huge, So the point of today's show is to help you understand how important it is to be intentional with your digital marketing. I mean, we gave you a ton of resources and formulas that you can plug and play to level up your digital marketing game. Now, even me, guys, has a social media coach to help me become better, right? And I'm on this damn thing every day, right? So if that's not your strong suit, then get somebody to help you. I don't care if it's me. I don't care if it's the weight. I don't care who it is. But I'm hiring the best of the best, and I'm building my board of directors as we speak to help me become the best provider I can be for the clients that I want to serve. And that's the folks that are making six figures and aren't sure how to scale to 7. So these are all the things that I have been learning and have learned that I now take for granted because I've been doing it for so long. But I got to realize, like, you guys that are stuck in that zone need this information. And I'm not practicing what I preach if I don't give it to you. So I'm making a very conscious effort to get better and better every day so that you guys get the resources that you need to scale to 7 figures and beyond. You may get so good at this where you become better than me at this shit. Which is, that's where I really get rewarded. That's when I really feel like I'm making a difference. So that's what I'm wishing for you guys. But it sucks being in that 6-figure holding pattern. I remember those days where it's just like, oh my God, why can't I break past 300 grand? That's so annoying. Now 300 grand's a great revenue to hit, but there's a lot more there. Like there's so much more to achieve and to be able to get to. And
you got to be ready to invest back into your business. I think that's probably where it starts. And then of course, implement what you're learning. If you're hiring a coach and you're just sitting idle and not really taking off with a lot of the recommendations that are being made, well then, I mean, what's the use of spending that money? So,
exactly.
but I think it's got to start with the mindset of reinvesting into your business.
Well, we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. We're going to talk about that on our next live stream, because that live stream is going to be totally focused about scaling a personal brand to 7 figures. I'm going to share with you stories on how I could kick myself in the ass making the mistakes that I've made back then. I'm going to share those with you, but I'm also going to share with you my wins on how I was able to take myself, scale it to 7 figures. And we were talking about this always earlier today.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing this out of the comfort of my home. And guess what? Since COVID, nobody cares anymore. Like, nobody cares. Now, I know you just moved into a new office, so I didn't mean to, right? But like
preference.
The point, yeah, it's preference. It's preference. I know you got to get out of the house and go somewhere to feel that. I just have to come in here, but to each his own, right? So the point that I want to make is it's possible. I've helped clients in the past get there. Solopreneurs that just knew how to invest. They invested in me. They invested in the team. They invested in outsourcing and resources. And they were able to do it much more efficiently than what they were doing prior to meeting. So looks like Michelle's like, I've written down all this awesome information. I'm stuck in the zone. Yeah, we're going to get you out of there, Michelle. We're going to get you out of there eventually. But she makes a good point. Information without implementation is useless.
Exactly.
So you can watch all of these videos all day long, but if you don't take action, forget it.
Yeah.
And that's,
so what's the cost of that inaction?
Exactly. And that's sort of the IG reel that I was playing around with today. And that character, Joey Stroomz. Joey poses the question to me and says, you're charging $500 right out of the gate for an assessment. Like, don't you think that feels a little too transactional, right away? And so I respond, and I go, Joe, I appreciate the question, but business is about transactions. You're not in business if you don't make transactions. So stop selling yourself, or stop giving away information for free. Stop giving your time away for free. I shouldn't say information because we do that here, but your time, one-on-one time, is the most valuable asset you have as a coach or a consultant. And you're just going to give that away because it feels too transactional for you. Like, I love what Russell always used to say this. Do you hate money? Like, do you? Are you a charity or are you a business?
Yeah.
Right?
That's a common question that we need to get used to asking ourselves.
Yeah. Like, if you want me one-on-one, you're going to pay for that. Like, I've been around for 14 years. Like, there's value to that.
Yeah.
And I want you to put yourself in my shoes. I want you to start looking at yourself, especially if you've been in business for a few years and you've been able to achieve any sort of accomplishment.
Yeah. How do you monetize your time? I think it's a valid question. You should ask yourself that question, especially if you've accumulated years of experience.
Exactly.
It's got to be worth something.
Totally. And again, I was talking about this to a client last week. You gotta understand that this type of client, especially if you're working with clients like me, like if I'm your client, I want to spend $10,000 with you. I really do, because I know if I put that kind of investment on the line that I'm going to take it serious and that I'm going to take action, because that's not a chunk of change to most people. So very, very important here to understand that, guys. Your quality clients that you want to attract are willing and able and wanting to spend money with you. But if you're like, I know what it costs to make, or it's only going to take me 10 minutes. No, you're cutting yourself short. I always go back, like when I start to get those vibes, I start to think about my son right away. I start to think about him. I start to think about my wife. I have to contribute to this household. I need to support them. I need to feel like I'm contributing to this family. And if I'm giving my shit away, then I don't have anything to show for that other than some high fives online. And high fives online don't pay my bills. So think about that. I know that's a little tough love from Jersey as we close this one out today, but you got to start charging, and you got to start charging a premium, especially if you are good at what you do. So if you haven't booked that brand assessment yet, head over to uniquedesignz.net and click that button that says book an assessment, and let's get you making more money with less people. So you can get your time back. You could get your freedom back. And you could get a peace of mind back that now you got a business that's actually profitable. So have an amazing day, guys. Big shout out to Michelle. Big shout out to Sahami Els in the house. Who else do we have? We have Orange County, like clockwork, this guy.
Like clockwork, yeah.
Right, sorry for joining late. That's the
Michelle in Orange County keeps showing up every single time. It was good. Thank you.
He is committed. He is committed. So again, guys, have an amazing day. We will see you here on YouTube Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And if you're not on my mailing list yet, just go to my website, go to the master class, and that's how you'll get on my email list and get notified of these as we create this content for you consistently every week. So have an amazing day, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one real soon. Take care.